Hello and welcome to Anime Memories, and on this episode I'm going to be talking about Red Garden. I was first introduced to this show by a review from Jesu Otaku. Or it might have been Yezu Otaku, I was never quite sure how to pronounce her name. But anyway, I was a massive fanboy of hers back in the day, so I would automatically watch anything that she recommended. So, when she recommended this anime, I was compelled to watch it. The anime starts with 5 unconscious girls being carried by these weird people in black suits. 4 of them wake up without their memories, while the final girl is found dead in the forest. In the evening, the surviving girls are all led to the park by butterflies, where the same weird people in black suits tell them that they actually all died as well. They have been given a second chance at life, however. They must now fight these rabid humans that have been turned into dog-like monsters. One of the things that the show got correct right off the bat was the atmosphere. When I think about how these normal teenage girls are forced into this terrifying situation where they have to fight these vicious monsters, I still get this feeling of dread. Their ordeal reminds me a lot of what Shinji from Evangelion had to go through, since there's a similar amount of melodrama here. The characters go through a variety of emotions such as anger, depression, and anxiety. It gets so bad that at times, some of them even have full-on nervous breakdowns. However, there is a bit of an issue. I found that these scenes were very inconsistent in terms of their quality. The scenes that were done well helped me feel sympathy for the characters. But then, there are other times where the melodrama can get really overbearing. So, if you're one of those people that hates overly dramatic characters, like Shinji, then this probably isn't for you. However, if you're able to get through these early episodes where the girls are struggling with their feelings, you'll be able to see them overcome their fears and start fighting as a team. It's very satisfying to see the characters accept their situation and do whatever they can to support each other. Then there's the ending, which I also found quite satisfying. I've heard a few people criticise it for being rushed, and yeah, the final few episodes are definitely rushed in parts, but I still felt fulfilled afterwards. I thought the story wrapped up rather nicely, even though it was very bittersweet. Now, when I began watching this, there was a ton of mystery and many questions were just popping into my head, like, why were the girls killed? How did they gain these superpowers? Who or what are these monsters they have to fight? All of this was fascinating at first, and some of the twists are jaw-dropping. But unfortunately, there were a few twists that were very underwhelming. Some of the mythology that they use to explain why all this crazy stuff is happening can get pretty dull. I mostly found myself tuning out during these scenes. Another aspect that has a few flaws is the battles. On one hand, they can be brutally violent and extremely tense. The problem comes in when everything goes into Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon territory. It's quite jarring when these scenes go from the girls wrestling with these monsters struggling to stay alive to them doing these ridiculous fighting moves 50 feet in the air. But the battles are certainly not the worst thing in here. They pale in comparison to my issues with the cast. The characters are where the show really started to fall down for me, since they all have personality traits that made them really unlikable. Kate is a pushover, Rachel is bitchy and mean-spirited, and Rose is cowardly and overly emotional. Rose was especially irritating since she puts the rest of the group in danger by wailing and freezing up in the middle of battle.
Rose, help! What the hell are you doing?
Fucking do something! Now, they all experience a lot of trauma, so their behaviour is understandable, but this doesn't make it any less frustrating. At times I just felt like yelling, "Oh, come on, get over yourself!" Although after all that yelling, I will say this is mostly an issue with the first half of the show. By the second half, everybody has calmed down significantly and they're more focused on getting stronger rather than continuing with the whole "woe is me, I am dead" shtick. The only member of the team that I did not find annoying at any point was Claire. She does have an abrasive personality, but she's also courageous and hardworking. The fact that she is living by herself, scraping by with whatever little money she gets from her part-time job, is something that I found admirable. And finally, it's somewhat ironic that the character I liked the most was the villain Hervé. He is very sympathetic since he's kind of forced into a villainous role by his crappy circumstances. But he still has all the characteristics of an antagonist, since he can be evil and manipulative. They do a great job of balancing out the kind and cold-hearted sides of his personality. This means that he is likeable, but you can still see that he needs to be taken out. The most unique aspect of Red Garden is the interesting art style. The character designs are quite different from what you'd normally find in anime, and this is because it's set in New York City. I am so grateful they went this way, because it would have been off-putting if the American characters looked Japanese. It was a great artistic choice since it really feels like an animated version of New York. In the sound department, the music is used sparsely as most of the scenes are just dialogue. The soundtrack is only ever used when the anime feels that certain emotions need to be emphasised. So the music isn't really anything amazing that you'd be rushing to put on your iPod, but it succeeds at what it sets out to do. The only time where it's just flat out bad is during these scenes where the girls just randomly start singing for some reason.
Nothing is going right, everything's turning.
I can see that you're trying, but I'm sorry, you cannot sing. You might think that switching over to the sub would alleviate this problem, but even the Japanese voice actors seem like they're struggling here. Regardless of what version you decide to watch, these songs are incredibly awkward and out of place. Another negative that was specific to the dub was the screaming. Oh dear God, the screaming. Now this is a bit of a minor gripe since it doesn't happen too often, but when it does, the actors go over the top. In the Japanese version, the screaming isn't anywhere near as loud, so if this seems like something that would bother you, I would definitely recommend the sub. But otherwise, the dub is perfectly fine. I actually found it to be quite enjoyable.
Merry Christmas,
everyone.
Hey, you in the stupid hat! I'm getting a free dinner! Woo!
Then we have the first ending theme, which has to be in the running for the most surreal thing I've ever seen. It has the male characters on stage playing instruments while the female characters are dancing in the crowd. And just when I thought things couldn't get any more ridiculous, I decided to check out the music video for this song. Oh, I'm not sure what image they were going for here, but looking at them, I can't help but smile. This song is hilarious in all the right ways, and it acts as a great palate cleanser for all the depressing crap that the story dumps on you. Red Garden has its ups and downs, but the positives definitely outweigh the flaws. If you are a fan of horror or you like anime with a unique art style, this is something I highly recommend. So anyway, thank you very much to everybody who watched this video. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave a comment, and if you like this video and want to see more, feel free to subscribe as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.